community power to affect legislation that you want. You have to change the policy and the way that the law is set in order to affect change.
We need a federal bailout for urban schools. We need billions of dollars, instead of going to banks, to go to urban schools, to put the state-of-art everything in public schools, starting with schools that have had the least.
Teachers have to figure out ways to build real relationships with students, and they have to take stands with their students in their communities about the issues that matter. And they have to talk about real things. They have to talk about what's happening in the community and what's happening in the world. They cannot pretend that those things don't exist.
I believe that educators should be like social workers. They need to care what's happening to the future, not just here in the school, but after school as well.
I think that the federal government should institute a policy of community assembly so that students and teachers and communities and schools could meet together to talk about what's wrong with our schools and develop a plan and get resources to actually improve the things that we need in the schools.
At some point, you have to address the people in power.
Confronting them, talking to them, meet with them, raise their awareness.
And this is what we have to do together as a team working on this stuff, because it affects all of us. Most of all, it affects our communities here and making sure that we have a place in the city so that they cannot push people out of the city, close schools, gentrify communities, and drive people out.
I don't think I could do it myself, so I will have to have support of other students and staff.
Really coming together and saying, look, this is our community, right? These are our children. These are our schools. How are we going to work together to make it? And no excuses, right? We're going to work to make it better. No excuses. We're going to do everything that we can.
And when I look in Kelvyn Park, I see the future Malcolm X's, the future Martin Luther King's. I see the future Cesar Chavez's, the future Dolores Huertas, standing right in front of me.
I'm from the sound of the metal detectors that sounds like a sick duck every morning. I'm from the loud sound of the bell every period, like you hear and stare at the wall for 16 years every class period. I'm the fresh smell of her brand's Ralph Lauren's your girlfriend wears every time you pass through and pass by her every class period. I'm the taste of her cherry chopstick when you kiss her soft lips every class period. I'm from the feeling of an impact and punch leaves from your enemy when you do wrong. I'm the sound of the bass that you hear across room 314 in the choir room. I'm from the voice of attention from the ROTC room and where everyone is motivated and self-disciplined. I'm from Kelvyn Park High School.
You look at the difference in the education and the resources that schools like Northside have, as opposed to schools like what Kelvyn Park have, and you begin to see some of the ways inequality are produced in this Chicago public school system.
In education, I'm really motivated by and inspired by our youth, by people like you who see what's happening, who want to understand better what's happening in your school, in your community, in the city, in the world, and want to change it and make it a better place.
It's a human right.
Think about your lifetime going ahead. If you begin to understand how young people have made a change in the world, you can see yourself in that role. You can make a documentary film about inequality in education. You can take it out to people in the community. You can educate adults about the things that you're learning. And you can play your historic role in changing the world.
This awakening when you start realizing that things aren't right, that things are fundamentally disrespectful in how the schools are set up.
It's unfair. It's really unfair because, every kid deserves the best, and it's just, I don't know, it breaks my heart when the principal says, we need this, this, and that, but we can't afford it right now.
It should be equal, it should be that no matter where you come from, you have the resources you need for education.